Grand Rising, Elizabeth.
Grand Rising.
Woo-wee, woo-wee. I love to see these smiling faces. Ooh, I love it. Today is March 12th, 2024. And this is the Health and Wellness Show with your host, Sister Deitra, myself, and Sister Stacy. And we are so happy to be here today with you. I'm going to start with the oracle reading. I'm actually going to pick the card while you're here with me. So this is going to be a surprise. Woo-wee. All right, what do we get today? Ooh. It's called, this goddess is Sekhmet. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, Sekhmet, the wounded healer. All right. So we're going to see what Sekhmet has to say. Let me find the reading. All righty, 15. Okay, Sekhmet. She is the goddess of wounded healers. Out of Egypt, she is of the warrior temple and the fire element. Sekhmet is the fierce, ancient Egyptian goddess of war, the sun and healing. Let me read that again. After I heard war, I was like, ooh, okay, but let me read it again. Sekhmet is the fierce, ancient Egyptian goddess of war, the sun, and healing. She carries life force in her palm with the power to create or destroy. Her guidance is, heal thyself. Everyone gets your best except you. You are a healer among your tribe. Stop putting your needs last. And the embodiment is, when did you decide to become a martyr? Take a breath. Wounded healers hold sadness, rage, and fears of brokenness. Being a warrior isn't a choice for our beloved foremothers. Oh, let me say it again. Being a warrior wasn't a choice for our beloved foremothers. They did the best they could, but being a goddess warrior for us is knowing that we have the choice not to fight all the time. Deep dive questions. What are your swords, the weapons you use to fight? And what are your shields, the ways you defend yourself? Dare to lay the burdens down along with the swords and shields. And the declaration is, it is safe to put myself first. Okay, all right. Well, I do want to go back to the questions. What are your swords, the weapons you use to fight? And what are your shields, the ways you defend yourself? Anyone want to share?
The weapon I use is, like she said, putting myself first.
Oh, good.
And making sure that I understand that it is safe to put myself first, and not to worry about being a hero to somebody else. Right. Being a defense mechanism for somebody else, or, always being there for them without taking care of myself first, because you don't take care of yourself first, you ain't got nothing to give nobody anyway. Nothing to give. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. But thanks for sharing that, Stacy. You're welcome. Anyone else?
I guess I would say that you said the weapon for. Say the questions again.
Okay. What are your swords, the weapons you use to fight? And what are your shields, the way you defend yourself?
Looking at some of the situations, my weapon, wow.
You know what? If you want to think about it a little bit more,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can talk about it a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
For me, my weapons, is really love. I mean,
I was
that's
going to say the same thing.
right.
And for both answers, it is love.
Yes.
Go
Yes, yes.
ahead.
Because, when people try to attack me or say stuff negative, I use love to just hold myself, stay in my place. Love really helps me stay there, and not react or get moved off my square. But and like you said, even defense. I mean defense and I don't really attack. Well, do I attack with love? I guess I'm trying to think about that one. But are you ready, Queen? Not yet, not yet. Okay.
I was gonna
I
say,
can say
because when I
something.
was looking at love, because that's my thermometer.
Yes.
And so when I like it's something like I did something recently, and oh my God, once I did it, it was so ugly. I felt so terrible, and all I could say was, that did not feel like love. That was not love.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had, in cleaning it up, I had to come from love. I had to come from love. I was like, I love you all. And blah, blah, blah. Please forgive me for what I said and how I said it. And when I had gone to somebody for, to say, listen to what I'm writing and da, da, da. And I even went back to that person. I said, this is not sitting right for me, in my heart. It just, oh God.
Well,
And I
good
was
for you.
so grieved from, from what I said and how I said it. And then I'm like, why did I even say that? What was, so it was really that was my judgment. That was my scale. And it was
Okay.
oh. And then even to come back and clean it up was
That's
love.
Yes,
I
that's
love you
good.
all, and I am so sorry that I made you feel that way. I can't even remember why did it come up like that. Anyway, I cleaned it up, but it was from love. And I wanted to say wisdom as well.
Okay, okay.
What to do for this, because I was not using wisdom when I did it. It was
Did it. Right, right.
Well, I just wanted to say, that yesterday, when we were talking, when the goddess was talking about take care of yourself, I'm in the bathroom because I don't want Sheena to hear me. She's always asking me to help her make up her bed. And I'm like, make up your own doggone bed. So I told her a couple of times, I said, you have to do this yourself. It's very easy. You go to one side of the bed and then you go to the other side of the bed. Okay.
Right.
So she asked me again last night, and I went in her room and I said, I have asked you not to ask me to help you with this because you're disrupting my train of thought when I'm in the middle of something. You can do this yourself. You're 40 years old. You can do this yourself. And so I felt, because I was going to go in there and do it anyway. But then she said, never mind. That never mind. And I'm like, and so I just walked on out the room. And, it really tugged at me to just go in there and help anyway. But I went back in my office and finished doing what I was doing. I said, don't ask me no more. Just these little things that you can do yourself, that you just do because you ask me to help because you think it'll go faster, but that's not where my space is. That's not where my head is at. I have other things on my mind, dear. I love you, but I felt,
it's
that was taking
interesting.
care of myself right then.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Well, the first thing I thought about when she started sharing, I was like, it seems like she just wants time with you. It might be something simple as making a bed, but I'm with my mother. You know what I mean? It's just time with you, So
I
that was
thought
my
about
thought.
that too. I thought about that too. But I did her hair last night. We were together.
Right.
Oh my goodness, Grand Rising Ebony. Oh, and Barbara, my goodness gracious. Yeah, yeah, right. Hey, baby. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to share?
Yes, I'd like to share. I try real
Come back
hard
on your camera, Barbara.
to
Mm-hmm.
operate out of love, and caring. Um, my sword is the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and
okay.
and my shield is God. He is my
Mm-hmm.
shield, and I always strive to try to do the right things. For example, like Evelyn was saying, people ask you, they infringe on your time. And like yesterday, I was helping my cousin. I call him Worsome, but because but he's in rehab. He
Mm-hmm.
just had surgery on. He's diabetic, so they took off his right foot.
Oh, wow.
And and he wants to get out of rehab. He wants. I try to help him as much as I can. He's much older than me. He's close to 90, but
Wow.
he's still independent, very independent.
Okay.
And I like that about him. And he don't have a lot of help. um so yesterday I was a little angry because I have so much on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
And but I have to remember that I had to remember that, you know, his situation as well. So I prayed about it. I went on. I didn't get everything done that I wanted to do, but I know that there's a blessing in helping other people,
Yeah.
So I went on and I helped him, but I prayed all the way that I don't show anger.
Okay. Yes. Well, good for you. Good for you. Mm.
Yeah, speaking of that, I have two guys that come to my house throughout the week to get bottles, cans. The beer cans my husband has, which must be a lot of beer because they know when they get here. So it was irritating me. And I had to deal with that irritation. Said, but because that didn't feel like love. Yet I get irritated when I go, to them. One will even just ask, well, I just want a beer. You have a couple of dollars, I'm like, and the other one, he always has some children, his children that he had to take care of, the grandchildren and stuff. And I just didn't like how I felt given to them, just inconvenience, so much judgment and all that kind of stuff. And then I was telling Star, I said, I don't like this. I don't like how this feels, And then I just had to go on and then I, like, Holy Ghost, help me with this. So I said, they help us because otherwise I've got to take all those bottles and cans in. turn it around as to, well, how is this benefiting you? And, just deal with myself when I have to deal with myself.
Right.
And yes, I said, wow. And I crawled up the steps, and I said, stop. Okay, right. They come and get the bottles and stuff. Now, when they ask me for money, that's another thing. But the guy said, he says, can you lend me, a couple of bucks? So when he brings it back, because I said, you ain't bringing that back. Well, I'm gonna bring it back. Okay, when he brings it back, he's also asking for the cans as well, right?
Okay.
But he turned around to the other day and he said, when I bring the money back, will you please take it? Because I asked you, can I borrow it? And I said, yeah, but then you still need it. He said, I asked you, can I borrow it? Will you please just take it back when I bring it?
Okay.
I said, yes, I will. So yeah, I had to deal with me and my attitude around that, I said, because when you get a lot of money, will you still have that same judgment on people? You gotta, if you can't do it with nothing or hardly nothing or whatever source you have, and you're judging someone else, they're in a worse position.
I do think so too.
Then
yeah, but just to tap.
Somebody saying something? Okay, so anyway, that I got freed. I got some clearance and some wisdom around that. Ebony?
That I think that my shield is definitely God and my sword is wisdom. A lot of all the time when I speak through wisdom and I speak through love. I feel like God encompasses all of the things that we were saying.
Okay.
So like the love, like if I bring God first to protect myself, and if I bring God first to do the work, it'll be done through wisdom, through love, through everything else that we had mentioned.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that, Ebony.
Yeah, and I've been acknowledging it a lot more, and it's been making me feel very peaceful. So just reminding myself to keep acknowledging that it is God that's leading makes me more peaceful. It makes me kind of like, okay, I can kind of back away and let God handle that. Like he gonna make a way. Like I got it. He got it. We got it.
That's good. That's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so as I was sharing too, I get a little irritation with, my mother-in-law sucking her teeth or something. It's something that she does, but it's kind of habitual. And so I said, you know what? That might be her way of feeling alive. When she does this little thing, it makes her feel like she's alive. And I said, Deitra, step back and know that it's okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to get over it. It's not anything that's hurting you, but it's giving her a chance to feel a part of life. So that really has helped me, from just with love, because that's love, and I feel very good about it. Let's see. You know what? I know Sister Stacy has to go at some point soon here, so we need to get started with the presentation. And I want to give her a little introduction, even though I know her a little bit, but not a lot. But I know she's studying to be a nurse. And please correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, but
I am a nurse.
Okay, oh, you are a nurse. Okay, okay, she is a nurse. Okay. But it seemed like you were in school or something, or taking a class.
To be to get certified as a nutritionist.
Oh, a nutritionist. Okay. I will turn it over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Deitra, for that introduction. So as we were talking about shields and weapons, so my topic today is the immune system. and understanding the immune system as our body's surveillance and defense system. So contrary to what I used to believe, because what I studied over the last couple of years is our gut health, leaky gut, having a healthy microbiome, and making sure that our bodies are protected against, or have our bodies are set up as a defense system, and that it is designed to surveillance ourselves from a lot of invaders that come in to try to attack our bodies and bring our bodies down. And so what I recently learned, that the immune system is not just confined to a specific organ like your gut,
right?
But it's distributed. It's not confined to a specific organ, but it's distributed throughout the whole body.
It sure is.
And I didn't understand that. So it involves a network of organs, tissues, and cells that actually work together, to defend the body's system against infections and other threats that may come in. And the key components of our immune system are found in various locations in our bodies, one being the bone marrow. And the bone marrow itself produces and releases immune cells, including white blood cells. And we'll talk a little bit about the white blood cells later. And also the thymus is crucial for the maturation, or it matures T cells. And we all learned about T cells when it came to HIV and your T cell being lowered and it being your body being affected and succumbing to the disease itself. And it's a type of the T cells, the maturation of T cells is a type of white blood cell involved in the immune response. And so then we also have the spleen, which is very important. Some people have their spleens removed. I remember my daughter had to have her spleen removed because it was making antibodies to fight her own platelets. And so the spleen filters blood, and it helps in the detection and elimination of foreign substances and old or damaged blood cells. So her body was making platelets to fight her own cells. And it looked at her own body system as an invader when it actually wasn't. And so then, most importantly, I think of the lymph nodes.
Yes.
They're distributed throughout our whole body, and they act as filters where immune cells can encounter and respond to pathogens. And a lot of times, the lymph nodes can produce, you could get cancer if your lymph nodes are not right. So then we have the tonsils and the adenoids. These structures are in the throat, and they're involved in the immune response to inhale or ingested pathogens. And then we have the skin, which we know is our largest organ of our whole body. And the skin serves as a physical barrier, and it houses immune cells as well to defend against external threats. And so we also have our mucous membranes, and these line the various cavities of the body, such as the respiratory and the digestive tracts. And sometimes we don't think about, skin we have skin on the inside and we have skin on the outside. And so the digestive tract and your lungs and all of those things are skins that we have on the inside, or the inside of our intestines is skin also that should be healthy enough to protect us against different things that come into our body, or to prevent the entry of pathogens. And then the bloodstream, very important. Once it gets in the bloodstream, the immune cells circulate in the bloodstream, and they're ready to respond to infections throughout the whole body. So the topic is understanding the immune system and your body surveillance and defense system. So
I love that. I love that.
Absolutely. So our bodies is like a sophisticated surveillance system, and it's constantly monitoring and responding to potential threats. And so sometimes we have to be our own guinea pigs, and we have to understand our own selves, what it is that's going on in our body. So we have to pay a special attention to what it is that we eat, where we go, and we have to understand our body's signals as a way of determining what's going on in our body. For me, for instance, last night, I think I ate a little bit too many pistachios. And literally later on that day, I really felt ill. And I had to wait a long process. Like I was saying earlier, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get on today because it really made me feel bad. So that was me not purposely being a guinea pig for pistachios.
Right.
It
Right.
did something to my body. And usually when I eat pistachios, I don't have a negative response, but I just ate way too many yesterday. So when I say about being your body's own guinea pig, one of the things that we can understand about how when pathogens try to get into our body, what happens when we have a fever, because a fever is a defense mechanism.
It sure is.
And so what are some of the things, I just need one person to answer for the sake of time. What is one of the things that we do when we have a fever?
You know, one thing I do, this is Deitra, I just make a warm between cold and hot bath or take a shower. Well, it brings my temperature down every time, you know, without taking any kind of fever medicine or anything. I don't do that. So I just, it's called tepid. Yeah, I take a tepid bath or a tepid shower. Yeah.
So what you're doing here is you're trying to get the fever down, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, and a lot of other people will choose to take Motrin or Tylenol. But what we need to understand about our body's defense system is that when we have a fever, the fever itself is killing off invading pathogens and protecting against infection. So what we should do, as long as the fever is not too high and damaging and getting your body into a state where you really need to seek some help, is we need to understand that the fever is a natural response to infection. It's natural. We're supposed to have a fever. And an elevated body temperature enhances the immune system. It brings the immune system up. And it speeds up the white blood cells. So it makes the white blood cells go to work for you faster. And by speeding up the white cell production and releasing their activity, an increased temperature stops the growth of pathogens by decreasing the survival rate of that pathogen, and it promotes a faster chemical reaction within the body or within the immune system, and it helps the body defense against invading pathogens. So that's one way we need to look at a fever, that a fever is there to help us get rid of those pathogens, and that we should not focus on trying to get the fever down unless it's extremely high. And extremely high by, I mean like 105. Because I remember when my kids were younger, the first thing I did when they got a fever is I was like trying to get it down, and or if I thought it was too high, oh God, we ran to the emergency room. And when you got to the emergency room, there's like, he's going to be okay, relax. He's going to be okay. Let the body run its process. Let the fever do what it's designed to do. It's attack whatever it is that's trying to evade your system. So.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah. So another way our body defends itself is through inflammation. And I know a lot of people has probably experienced inflammation in the form of maybe having a injury to the knee or an injury to the ankle, where the body gets swollen and it starts being in pain and stuff like that. So the body's immune system, or the way I like to look at different pathogens that come in our body is like through, like, say you go to an airport and there's so many moving parts in the airport. You got people coming and going, getting off this flight, jumping on that flight, stopping to eat, buying different stuff, and everybody's passing by and it's just so busy. Well, that's what we need to look at our immune system as. We have a lot of moving parts in our bodies, and I don't have time to go over it all, but we have a lot of moving parts in our body that consist of our immune system that is all working together. Like, you know, think about like a football team, and somebody is throwing the ball and they're catching the ball. Well, when we're watching the game, our eyes are on the person that's catching the ball, because we want to make a touchdown, but we're not looking at the other key players in the game. We got the quarterback, we got the linebacker, we got the defense, And we got the offense, and we got all of these players working together. And there's no way we can keep our eyes on everybody at the same time. But nonetheless, everybody is a key player. And that's how our immune system is set up. Every part of your body, every tissue, every organ, everything has cells in it, and they're all key players in helping you get your immune system in the right function or to working properly. So one of the things that I want to point out is that when we have an inflammation going on in our body, and we know that prolonged inflammation is not good because it becomes chronic. And so if you have an acute inflammation going on in your body, it's probably related to an injury or something that you had going on in your body. And one of the things there's 4 things that happen when you have inflammation. You got heat going on, you got redness, you got swelling, and you got pain. When you have those 4 combined, you know that there's something going on in your body because you feel the heat. You can put your hand on it and see its redness, and you can also look at it and see it swollen, and you're going to experience some pain as a result of it. So the white blood cells, we have to look at the white blood cells as soldiers. And we're going to look at everything as part of an army. So the soldiers are detailed white blood cells that act as the infection fighting army, recognizing and neutralizing threats that go on in the body. So when you have redness, swelling, and pain, these components of the inflammation, they are collectively representing a localized immune response, like wherever it's localized at. And with each of these, we can understand how they manifest as a part of the body's defense mechanism. So when we talk about heat, the mechanism of heat is that it increases, what happens when you have heat in your body? It increases the blood flow to the affected area during inflammation caused local warmth, and it causes local warmth. And the sign of the immune response is heat serves as evidence of increased metabolic activity. So metabolically, there's something that's going on, and the heat being present acts as it goes there quicker. And so it's affected area. Okay, let me read that again. It increased blood flow to the affected area during inflammation and caused localized warmth. So it aids in creating an environment less favorable for pathogens, as many microorganisms have optimal growth during a normal body temperature. So if your body temperature is at a normal thing, it's not telling you what's going on. You could have something going on in your body, and if you don't get a heat or a fever or something like that, you'll never know what's going on. So that means that your body system or the mechanism in your system regarding heat is not working properly. So you want to experience heat. And another one is redness. And what happens when you have redness is the blood cells or the blood vessels are dilated in an inflamed area, and it leads to increased blood flow, causing redness. So the sign of the immune response to redness is a visible indicator or heightened blood circulation, facilitating transportation of immune cells. We have immune cells, and we want those immune cells. And those immune cells, they facilitate the transformation of the immune cells, antibodies, and also nutrients to the site of the infection. So it's our body's way of helping ourselves overcome. So an increased blood flow helps deliver necessary resources for the immune response. We want to make sure that we have our immune response. And then the other one is swelling. Now, the mechanism in swelling is increased permeability, meaning that it's easier for the substances to pass through the tissues, the pores, or the channels, or the structures. And the increased permeability of blood vessels, like mostly the capillaries, because they're the smallest vessels in your body, it allows the fluid, proteins, and the immune system, or the immune cells, to move from the bloodstream to the surrounding tissue, causing swelling. So what you want to happen is you want the swelling to happen because it's going to move it out of the bloodstream and it's going to take it to the surrounding tissues, then that's what causes the swelling, because you don't want it to stay in the bloodstream. And so signs of immune response: swelling is the protective response that isolates and limits the spread of harmful agents. And the accumulation of immune cells and proteins helps to neutralize and eliminate the invaders, because that's what they're doing. They're there to take you out.
Working.
They're there to work to take you out. So edema promotes the removal of debris and damaged cells from the affected area. And then we have the one that's pain. You know, a lot of times diabetic people, they don't experience pain, and they can have an infection going on in their body and not know it. Like they can step on a nail if they have peripheral edema, peripheral neuropathy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And they always tell diabetics to check your feet all the time to make sure that you haven't stepped on a nail and not knew about it, because that's why a lot of people end up having, or diabetics end up having, their foot's amputated or their knees amputated because an invader got in and they didn't know that it happened. So pain is a mechanism as well. And the release of inflammatory mediators is called prostaglandins, and it sensitizes nerve endings, leading to heightened sensitivity of pain. And that's what I mean by, if your nerve's not working right with diabetes, then you can't feel. So the sign of immune response: pain acts as a warning signal.
Yes.
Promoting individuals to protect the affected area and to avoid further injury. So you want to make sure that you have pain. And if you don't, something is wrong. If you didn't feel that nail and then you turn around and you look and that nail is there, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
So additionally, yeah, pain can limit movement of the inflamed region, facilitating the healing process. So collectively, heat, redness, swelling, and pain demonstrates the body's orchestrated, working together, response to injury and or infection. And these signs are indicative of the immune system's mobilization and neutralizes threats, repairs damaged tissues, restores your body to a state of homeostasis, or get it back to normal the way it should be. So while inflammation is a crucial part of the immune response, chronic or excessive inflammation can contribute to various health issues. So it's important that we balance our immune response, and it's essential for maintaining overall health and preventing complications. So that's what I mean by when I say that we need to be our bodies, or we need to be our own guinea pigs. We need to figure out what's going on in our bodies by paying special attention to what's going on in our bodies. So, you know, white blood cells, you know, they as the infection fighting army, recognizing and getting rid of or neutralizing the threats. So that is one of the ways that we know that we have an infection. If we go to the doctor, they take a complete blood count with a differential, and if they see that your white blood cells are elevated, they're going to know that there's something going on in there. And that's one of the things that we need to recognize as guinea pigs is when we feel certain things, we have to say to ourselves, like I did last night eating too many pistachios, there's something going on in there. And literally, I wanted to take medicine and everything to alleviate it, but I had just read all of this stuff, and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to do it. So red blood cells are known as leukocytes, as we know, and it plays a vital role in the immune system, acting as the infection-fighting army against pathogens. So I can't go over a lot of that, but what it does is that it recruits different things to the bodies. And I know a lot of people have heard of T cells and B cells, and T cells were looked at very heavily when it came to a long time ago, when people, and maybe now, but not so much now, because they don't talk about HIV and AIDS anymore right now too much, because they have, you know, medicine to help people with it. But when people's T cells were going down, they would know that the body's defense system is not working properly, and that HIV can turn into AIDS, and then your body will succumb to the illness and you'll die from it. So T cells and B cells, once you have an infection or something going on in there, what your body tries to do is go to the site of infection and build up what they call a memory system. It's just like what the coronavirus as an example, and then I'm going to sum up with this. The coronavirus as an example. Once you got the coronavirus, the one thing they wanted to do was to get a vaccine so that they can shoot into your body so that if you get coronavirus again, if you get the same coronavirus, that it would recognize it and it would set up a defense system against it so that it doesn't allow the coronavirus to take you out. However, after the coronavirus, COVID-19 came, it's like, oh, there's more strains. I'm like, there have been more strains since the early 20s. And, you know, and they're talking about more and more strains, but get another shot because this is going to be for this strain, another shot for this strain, the same way they do when flu season comes around. They got all these different flus and they want to detect which one of these vaccines are going to help with it. And, you know, good luck as to which one you choose or which one that they give you, and hope that that's the one that's going to protect you against the flu, because it may not. So there's a thing called phagocytosis. And what it does is phagocytic white cells, the macrophages, what they do is they eat up the debris that's in your body, and it causes them to just eat it up. But the resolution and memory is that once the infection is under control, regulatory T cells help modulate the immune response to prevent excessive inflammation. So it won't allow it to happen again. And the memory T and B cells are generated during the immune response, providing a faster and more robust reaction upon the exposure of the same pathogen, like I was saying before. So in summary, the white blood cells are the key players of the immune system, employing a range of strategies to recognize, neutralize, and eliminate the threat. So their coordination and specificity contributes to the body's ability to defend against infections and maintain overall health. So I'll sum up by saying that in our microbiome, our gut health is very important. And what we eat and where we go is very important on how we allow pathogens, viruses, cancers, and anything that may try to invade our bodies. Having a healthier gut, a healthier microbiome sets up defense systems, because in our stomach, in our digestive tract, we have, I want to say billions, trillions, I forget the number, of microorganisms in our bodies, one being the what do they call it? Probiotics and prebiotics that are in our gut that helps us get rid of it, because there are going to always be some unhealthy bacteria in your gut and some unhealthy microbes in your gut, healthy and unhealthy. And you've got to have a balance of both of them, because they have to recognize each other and how they're going to take each other out. They're going to be fighting. So anyway, So having a healthy microbiome, eating the proper diet, and having the proper minerals and nutrients in our body is going to help with that defense mechanism. It's going to help us surveillance it, and it's going to help us keep our bodies in a healthy state. And as you know, Deitra, you going into herbs and different stuff like that. There are so many different foods that we can eat, herbs that we can take, and different stuff like that, that's going to help protect ourselves or help protect our immune system so that it works properly and does what it's supposed to do to fight for our body's system. So inside our body and outside of our body, our immune system mediators that help us stay healthy.
Yes. You know what, Stacy, I thank you so much for what you shared, because right now I'm sitting in a state of gratefulness. You know, I'm grateful for this body. I mean, it's like amazing that it's doing all this behind the scenes. I don't even know half of the things that's going on, but it's working for me. So I thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Are there any other comments?
I know that I heard that about through social media, it had talked about the temperature, you having a fever, and that it was good until it gets too far over. But like what you were saying about the work that the fever is doing, the body is hot, it's alarming you, but it's also doing a work. That heat is doing the work until it gets overheated. So, yeah.
And Stacy, I do know that you're gonna need to leave or, oh, huh?
I guess she was saying that she leave.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
You're talking
she's
and you're still on mute, honey.
I'm just saying I'm still here. I'm just move my device to a different device so that I can stay with you guys.
okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to reiterate some of the things that was shared. First of all, the immune system is a complex network of organs, cells, and proteins that defend the body against infection. Powerful. The immune system keeps a record of every germ it has ever defeated, so it can recognize and destroy the microbe quickly if it enters the body again. Let's see. In addition, there are, let me see, some parts of the immune system: the white blood cells, the lymphatic system, the spleen, bone marrow, and thymus, and antibodies. All these are part of the immune system, and they're working all the time. That's what I think about, even when I don't even realize it. I'm glad I don't have to control my white blood cells and the red blood cells and the lymphatic system, because that would be a lot of work. So I'm thankful that those things are happening behind the scenes. I'm just very grateful. Yep. Does anyone else want to share?
Grand Rising, Rhonda and Joy and Rev and Lolly.
I was just thinking, very good, Stacy. I loved it. Thank you.
Grand Rising.
Did you hear me, you guys?
Yes,
appreciate it.
Okay.
I'm looking at Joy in a different setting. I guess she's in her car.
I'm out of town.
Oh.
And I just realized this car, I could do Zoom. I said, this car that I rented, I said, wow, let me see if I can get in here.
So where are you?
I'm in Dallas doing some business.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Is it warm down there?
Hot? It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah. It's been a really good trip, though. Yeah. Really good trip.
Very good. Sharonda, I got your text and I will be sending some information when I look at the whole show. She was just asking about other things that'll be going on, like activities, like, where there's movement, hustle, stretching, or any of that. So, and I think I answered Evelyn's. Anyway, the flyer should be here today, actually. And once they get here, I will post and let everybody know. And then I'll also be putting on the website, I will be putting the vendors and their information as they come in, along with any sponsors. I'll start putting that on, and some footage from last year that we have footage and pictures. So if you have them, Danielle said that she was going to put, use her Google Drive or something where we can drop everything in one location, and then she can work from there. Ebony?
Yes, ladies, before we leave, I wanted to share some information with you. My business this is our second time. So I would say we are now the house child care resident for MEJC's ratepayer clinics. And I wanted to share the next ratepayers clinic, which is tomorrow. What we will be doing is having people set up as advocates to help coach you into getting you on SER and other ratepayer resources to help cut the cost of DTE and protect you from DTE shutoffs. It will be on the west side. Now, please forgive me, I'm not familiar with Detroit, but I think she said it's Brightmoor area at Detroit Community High School on Burt Road in Detroit.
Yeah, that's the east side.
Okay. Okay, east side. So it will be from 6 to 8. It's
It's
west. Y'all help me out.
Burt Road is west. Okay.
Burt Road is west side.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, y'all help me out because I'm gonna be
Help
taking
me out.
MapQuest anyway. So I'm gonna find it. But it's at Detroit Community High School on 12675 Burt Road. If you guys are in the WhatsApp chat, I will be sending it shortly, but I'll be providing a childcare from 6 to 8. They offer free childcare services. We're doing a chromatography workshop at that time for the children. And while I'm servicing and caring for your children, you will be getting services on helping to support and protect yourself from shut off from DTE.
Okay, sounds
What is
good.
chromatology? I'm sorry. What is
Ooh, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So chromatology is a science. It's like an art science, but if you add water to colors, they can liquefy and they merge into each other. I have a friend named Asiana. She did it for a workshop before, and it was so amazing. I'm like, oh girl, that's going in my bucket. Like that's going in my little basket because it's so interesting. So we're gonna take Skittles and pour water on it, and the children are gonna figure out what's gonna happen.
Oh, nice. Okay. But that sounds fun.
So yeah, that is Wednesday from 6 to 8, and I'll be sharing that information.
And thanks for providing that service, Ebony, because sometimes parents want to get involved in other things, but they have children and they don't know what to do with them. So thank you for your service.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Sharonda, I saw you pop on. Did you want to say something? OBKB.
Okay.
I was just popping on to show my face.
Okay, good to see you.
But I don't know, whatever she was just talking about, that sounded a little bit like science and STEM. We got the STEAM Fest coming up on Saturday. So we're looking for vendors that's STEM and STEAM based. If anybody is free, we got the STEAM Fest at Wayne State from 12 to 4.
So what is a STEAM Fest?
Volunteers.
What happens there, hon? STEAM Fest.
What I remember what the flyer says is basically where science meets a fun and interactive environment. And this is given by my mom's nonprofit. And I talked to my sister briefly, and basically we spent some money for this event. So if y'all know some kids, K-12, it's gonna be at Wayne State. They need to come on out if they're free on Saturday, 12 to 4.
And the vending is how much, hon?
Pardon me? I don't think it's a cost because we sponsoring it as a nonprofit. So I don't think we can charge for this.
You can. If you can charge, if you're a nonprofit, you can charge for your
donation.
Because you still have expenses to put something on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll
find that out.
Unless it's grant funded though, Queen.
Yeah, she got a grant for it. She got a grant. Like I said, they spent some money for that event. So it sounds like it's gonna be nice.
Okay, but so next question is the market is it for children or
Yes.
adults? Okay, so as far
Yeah, but it's gonna be adults there, you know.
yeah. Okay, but yeah, it's good to know when there's children. When I've taken my granddaughter and there's nothing for her there, the vendors don't have anything for her, you know. And when they was making like the little bracelets, I said, you know, you guys should include the little girls in the size or stuff like that, because the parents, number one, they will purchase something for the kid. So if you have something for the in what you have that will include the children, you get a sale because there's nothing else there for them, you know. So
Yeah, this
that's why I was
I
asking
think
about that.
it's
That's
more
why.
information based for the vendors. And
Mhm.
that's why I was thinking about the Elizabeths with you and Lolly, what y'all do with the technology, because kids need to know that too. I'm like, I don't even know. I just popped on a few times and I'm like, what I saw, I'm like, oh, y'all are good. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all call yourselves novices, y'all probably a little bit more than novices, but I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, cool. I'll get more information from you. Because sometimes we like to have Everett's where we set up mannequins and the kids can, because my little baby, she can braid and she's very proud of that. She'll be 7 this month. And she's
Oh,
proud. She gets her mannequin and can I shampoo? And she put she put hot water, so the whole mannequin is all matted up now. And you know, and so I said, do you know why that happened? And she didn't know. And so I explained to her, I said, Daddy didn't tell you not to put the hot water on the mannequin because the hair will mat up. So she learned something, you know. She's
yes.
very, very interested and she has her makeup stuff and you know, she's just 6, like she'll be 7 on the 31st of this month, but she's really into it. Yeah. So I would, if
I
that's
didn't think about that.
possible,
I
I
guess
would
that
bring
could
them.
come in with the arts.
We could bring in some mannequins and let the kids just, you know, braid down. And sometimes we have little relays where, okay, ready, go. Who's on your team? And then, you know, and they be going and stuff like that. So that's why I was asking in reference to that. Okay, I think we lost. Yes, no, where we are. Okay, Deitra, we're at the end. It's 10:02. If you want to.
Okay. I just want to thank you all for attending. I appreciate Stacy for what she shared.
Mhm.
And we talked about it. So thank you for being here.
Mhm.
That's about it.
All right, let's give ourselves a big old hug for the day and hug this wonderful world that we are living in and sprinkle all the blessings that you want to know. And peace out.
Peace.